Hello, Guy Day, spelled D-A-Y. It's so lovely
Yes.
to see you again.
And you?
When we first met, we had a lot of fun discussing my maiden name, which is also D-A-Y,
Yes.
and how tricky it is for people.
No. The simplest name, yet very
Yeah,
difficult
yeah.
to spell. So there you go.
The
Yeah.
wonders of the world. Yeah. Lovely to see you again, and thanks for joining us on Founder Fuel
No
series.
worries.
Love to hear your origin story and more about Kamal or introduce Kamal for us and then tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, no, sounds good. So Kamal, in short, is a business management platform for recruitment agencies. So I found it, I guess, out of my own personal frustration running recruitment agency in New Zealand. So I ran a business called Potentia, which is a large tech recruitment business here. And yeah, ultimately, there wasn't a product in market that Kamal, I guess, is solving for now, which is a system for owners and leaders and operators of recruitment businesses to log into every single day, to have complete clarity of where their business is at any given moment in time, but more importantly, kind of tell them what to do next and kind of show them where they're heading, which is in the name Kamal. So it's not the famous singer in Australia that I quite often get told. Walking around Melbourne and Sydney every now and again with a Kamal t-shirt, and they're saying, "You're not Kamal." Anyway, but no, a Kamal it's an old navigation device from actually from the Persian area.
Mhm.
It's a bit of wood, bit of string, and you point at the stars, and it's kind of a wayfinder. And I guess that's what we are for recruitment businesses, is
Yep.
essentially a wayfinder. So yeah, and my background, so I've been in recruitment for many years, coming up 15 years now, and I guess love the industry. And I guess I'm excited to, whilst I'm no longer running a recruitment business, I'm super pumped to be building a software business in the industry. And yeah, we're going well so far.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. And so have you branched into Australia yet? Is it or
Yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
So obviously we started here, but we are just a shy of 30 customers now,
Okay.
which would be about, I'd say 60, 70% Aussie based
Yep.
to New Zealand. So my co-founder Andrew is based in Melbourne as well. So
Okay.
we do spend quite a bit of time. I travel quite a bit from Auckland to Aussie.
Yeah.
We do it more this year for sure.
Yeah.
So, but no, and I guess the goal is certainly to go beyond.
Yep.
So the focus for the next 6 to 12 will definitely be Aussie and New Zealand, but with an
Yep.
eye sort of mid-year to start to tackle the UK market, which is, I guess, the home of recruitment. And I think every second recruiter is from the UK. And so, yeah, basically heading there and knowing there's a huge market for us to go after too.
Yeah, fantastic. And just so that we're clear on the sort of ideal customer for you, is it any recruitment company or is there a specific size?
Yeah, so look, it's pretty much any company. I'd say currently it would be best suited to agencies that have 10 plus consultants in their business. So
Yep.
we're not really designed for a lifestyle recruitment business. The whole intent of what Kamal's trying to do is drive scale and growth and
Yep.
efficiency. So if you're a one, two man shop or person shop, it might be interesting, but you're not necessarily going to use Kamal to drive that. So yeah, we'd say 10 plus consultants, but it can be any industry, any sector. Our current customer base is pretty much spanning what's out there. But I would say, I think the contingent, i.e., contracting temp, that sort of high volume side of the industry where there's a lot of data, a lot of complexity, we really come into our own in that space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. It's awesome. I love it. And tell us about the funding journey and generally how you think about funding growth for Kamal.
yes, well, it's been a journey. We'll definitely say that. So we've been fortunate, I guess, to have people that have believed in us. So to date, we've most of our, I suppose, funding has come through friends and family, and I'd say friends and family and very close connections of mine in the recruitment industry as well through Safe Notes. So we've just
Yep.
used Safe Notes pretty much all the way through.
Mhm.
And we also had a priced round at the very beginning stages of our journey. So we're fortunate enough to be invested in by the RCSA, which is the Recruitment Corporate Staffing Association. It's essentially the industry body for recruiters
Yeah,
across
wow.
Australia and New Zealand. And they came in when we didn't have a product. I basically had an idea and said, look, this is what we're trying to build. They really believed in it. They had sort of a venturing side of their business. And so basically pre-revenue, pre-anything, we set a number and they invested against that number. But everything else since then has basically been safe. So we've had, I guess, a couple of goes at having some conversations with VC, but yeah, it was very, very challenging. And obviously, I think the time that we're in raising capital, if we think about when we started, we had to go sort of March last year, which was a pretty tough time to try and raise some capital. And then we had another sort of conversation with another VC sort of July time. but really excited. I'm really excited about the vision, the business, and even the traction and the trajectory that we were heading. But we're just we're kind of a little bit too small. Your ARR is not really where it needs to be. And so it became quite challenging to get those conversations going. So we pivoted and went, look, actually, let's focus on people that do believe in us, which is our industry.
Yeah.
And so we could sort of continue to just chip away at raising through Safe Notes with our customer base. And so, in fact, we've got some of our customers, our early adopters, as investors in our business too, which is
that's great.
cool.
Yeah.
So we've tried to be quite creative around it, and
Yes.
it's now meant that fast forward, and obviously the opportunity to get some money through Tractor, which has been amazing. And I will call this out. I think a big part of it as well is not just obviously the investment side, but from the surrounding support from what I can see as well. Obviously, we're just kicking it off, but the perks that you guys have and the community seems really awesome. So very excited to be part of that.
Yeah.
But it definitely made me think differently because I guess we're further along our journey now. We're in a position now to go, well, actually, we can be really targeted about when we need to raise capital and what we need it for, and actually thinking of it more as debt funded rather than necessarily equity funded.
Yep.
Actually makes a lot of sense for us.
Yeah, I think, you're in that spot which has always been the right fit for us, founders who they've got to a point where they know they're onto something. Like, you've got something now. And so you get more protective about your shares, right? You don't want to keep diluting at every turn because then you'll end up with nothing and it's going to be valuable. And so it's a little bit protecting that, as well as I think in your case, you really wanted to get some of these metrics up as far as new customer acquisition and revenue and that sort of thing before you had to look at equity again.
Totally right. And I think, and again, it may be something we explore way down the track again, don't get me wrong, but I think what's exciting is there are different mechanisms now, and acknowledging a lot of people don't necessarily know that that's a thing, that there is, I guess, businesses like yourself. And I think obviously it's novel because I haven't come across many other tractors in the world.
Tractors that do debt funding for tech companies.
No, that's right. Yeah. If they did exist, they don't exist anymore for a reason, but no. But no, I think it's exciting. It's that perfect sweet spot, as you say. You're beyond just an idea, and you've got traction, you've got real runs on the board, but you're not quite at the level on the other side of the fence. There's this real sweet spot, which so many businesses get caught in.
That's
but
right.
you don't have to be able to go faster.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's that trade-off, isn't it, between bootstrapping it, and it's in between bootstrapping and then going for a big equity raise, and that you can keep bootstrapping, but it will be much slower.
Yeah.
Awesome. One of the interesting topics that we do on Founder Fuel series, or discuss on Founder Fuel series, is around leadership and management, because you're carving out some new innovation in an industry that you've been in for a long time. And so really keen to hear your thoughts on leadership and how you manage your team, and what's some gold nuggets in there that other founders can learn from.
Yeah, I think we've got a small team, but our team is fully remote. One of the things I would say is having a fully remote team, for anyone that's got that. Over communication has been a real focus for us. And even when you think you've communicated enough, you probably still haven't.
Yes.
And I've fallen foul many times, and I've had to make that transition myself. Being a recruiter, being very in person, my previous life running a recruitment business, we were always in the office. And even during COVID, we took every opportunity we could to be in person when possible, right? Because that's how it was done. So I personally have had to make quite a big shift to know how to work in that remote sense, and we still try and catch up in person when we can, but we're just at different locations globally.
I'm curious how, because we're the same, we're fully remote, and I agree you need to communicate a lot, and I set up weekly calls with every single person on the team to check in. How do you communicate that much with your team?
It's using things like Slack, ClickUp, those tools, and really making sure that you're diligent with it as well. And also setting the scene for what the meeting's about as well. So one of those things that you can get caught on is it's meeting for the sake of meeting. And actually, that's the worst thing you can do, is being on a call and you're thinking, well, I need to be on this call because we're not in person and therefore we should be yarning. Actually, no. Be real diligent about why is it that you're sitting down. Andrew and I will have dedicated product management time, right? We'll go, we don't have a product manager, we're not big enough yet, we are the product manager, but we go into that meeting, we put everything else to one side, nothing else. The only thing we talk about is this, so that we can really tick that box. And then we have our Friday yarn catch up, so everyone could jump on and just talk whatever. There may be some business chat in there as well, of course, but it's generally creating those spaces. But Slack's been a winner. To be fair, ClickUp was relatively new for us. We've explored a few different tools. We found that one the most hybrid between Notion or a Trello and Slack.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's the look and feel is quite Slack-like, which is probably what I like about it. But it's got a lot more in terms of running sprint cycles and that kind of stuff in there, and a blend of the board and the lists and the prioritization.
Yeah,
But
right.
you've got communication, you've got chat, you've got things in there as well.
Yeah.
And it's fully integrated with Slack as well. I'm not getting paid to promote Slack,
No,
but it is a great tool.
no.
It's a great tool.
But that's great. This is what this is about, right? Founders sharing things at
Yeah.
work and experiences and all that sort of things. So that's great. Is there anything, because I did a bit of a deep dive on that one point that you just made, was there anything else you wanted to share on that topic?
Yeah, look, I've always loved to manage people.
Mm.
And as a founder, I guess speaking from experience, going from quite a reasonably large team, Potentia at one stage was up to 50 staff. And obviously I wasn't directly managing 50 staff, but essentially indirectly. And the thing I would say is moving from that to founder land and only having a few people to work with and engage with, that style of management can change quite a bit.
Yeah.
Even if it was in person versus remote, acknowledging that can be quite a shift. And the thinking or processes that you applied in a potentially larger setting to what needs to happen in startup land, where everything changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You just need
Different.
to be comfortable
Yeah.
with that. And look, again, it took me time to really work and find those processes, but knowing that actually structure is important, but it's more important to just push through whatever you have to push through, get to whatever step you want to get to, and not necessarily worry about all the processes behind it.
That's actually such a good point. The awareness and acknowledgement of the different environment you're in, that once you've got that awareness and acknowledgement of it, then the rest becomes much easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, and being okay with it, because I went through that journey of doing both. There was that transition period where I was doing Kamal and Potentia at the same time, and it nearly broke me. And like any founder, I think, who goes on that journey, it's a pretty common story, right? But actually realizing when I did go full time into Kamal, I was still bringing a lot of the Potentia thinking to my style of engagement. And it doesn't work. Viscerally wasn't working. And I was like, hold on, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
To step back and go, okay, hold on. It's because I need to execute. I need to be more communicative here. I need to not worry about spreadsheets and documentation in this area. Those sorts of things.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I remember early on my first business, I was probably in a little bit of that state and had this expectation set that all these things were going to happen, and then they didn't.
Yep.
And it was that resetting of expectations that really helped me settle into what was actually happening. Yeah, that's a great one. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. All good. All good.
And thanks so much for your time. Really great chat.
No, thank you. And look, as I say, super excited to be in the Tractor family.
Yeah, really excited to have you. Fun times ahead.
Yes, definitely. All right. Thanks, Jodie.